Well, we are happy to have our good friend Donald Leshko with us here on the program. He is the Hazleton Fire Chief, and he has reached such a milestone this year. Chief, you have been the fire chief for 15, and you've been with the Hazleton Fire Department for 20 years. Time flies.
I guess you could say time flies when you have a job that you love the best. And yeah, I gotta say, I never thought when I raised my right hand in front of then Mayor Barletta and Chief Powell to take the oath as a firefighter that, number one, I would make 20 years with the fire department, and number two, due to Mayor Barletta promoted me at the time, that I'd be fire chief for 15 years now. It's just unbelievable, but I gotta say, it's a job I love. It's probably the greatest job in the world, and I just love doing my job every day. I love coming to work. I love working with my team. I have a tremendous team in the Hazleton Fire Department, and backed up with a tremendous administration in the city, with Mayor Cassatt and everybody. So I gotta say, I just definitely love doing my job and just love coming to work and serving the citizens every day.
I remember back when we both started our careers, it seems like yesterday that I was, field reporting and you were entering into the Hazleton Fire Department. And, bring us back to what it was first like going into the department, and then 20 years later, a blink of your eye that you're still the fire chief.
It was, honest to goodness, I think it was a dream come true. It was always a dream of mine to, as a little kid, and I tell this story often, that I was, dreamt about becoming a firefighter in the city of Hazleton. I knew the guys that worked in the fire department, what they did, and always dreamed about becoming a firefighter in the city of Hazleton. And took the test. I went and took the civil service test and got called and says, I'll never forget that year. It was in 2000, Thanksgiving of 2000, getting called by Chief Powell at the time saying, "You're getting hired. Your start date's January 5th in the city in 2001, getting sworn in." At that time, I was initially stationed at the Diamond Station on Church Street. I worked there, and then I transferred downtown on a ladder truck. But at that time, it was different. Our call volume was not as much. We were probably running about 150 calls a year. So your call volume was a lot less. But through the years and getting promoted to deputy and then getting promoted to fire chief, we saw increase in call volumes. We saw a lot of changes. Saw a lot of changes in the department, but a lot of good changes. There was a lot of positive changes that we were bringing, that I was able to. And at that point, when I got put in to be fire chief, it was changes that I was able to help facilitate and make sure and make a reality. And I got to say, there were so many great things that myself, my deputies, our team did. I'm just so proud of the job they do each and every day. But I think, we had some great time, definitely some great events in the city. I got to say, probably my most saddest event was still when we dealt with the fire on Manhattan Court. We lost 2 children. That was, I got to say, was probably one of my most toughest moments in the fire department, in dealing with that whole incident and going through that week with the family. But it made me realize that, that was a difficult fire, but it also made me realize that we had a job to continue to do and continue working forward and building strong and making our department better. Anything we can do to make our department better, to make our department safer. And I got to say, every day we strive to do that, and I continue to push every day for that.
Well, I commend you and your team, because let me tell you, we did a little segment on the Girls Show once where we went into the mock burning building, and I was scared to death in there, and that was in a controlled environment with you. So I definitely, I commend you and your team. It's definitely not an easy job to do. Who would have thought you'd be working through a pandemic?
Throughout the thing, I gotta say, is throughout the years, I never thought I'd be living through and working through a pandemic. But through God's good graces, everybody's been safe, everybody's been healthy. We've had some of our firefighters, and including myself, we already got the vaccine, so we're moving forward in that process. But most importantly, it's just continue to make sure everybody stays safe. That's my number one goal. I want to make sure that at the end of the day, that all my firefighters, career and volunteer, go home to their families. That's most important. I want to make sure that, and I strive every day to make sure we do that.
Very good. Thanks for joining us again here on SSPTV News.